Manchester City 0, Arsenal 0. We didn't win. We didn't win. I said it was a must-win game after drawing to Liverpool, and we've drawn. The chances of the title are slipping a bit. I'm not going to say I've not got faith in us, but all I'm saying is it is really Liverpool's to lose. Liverpool are the definite favourites now. Because seeing them come back from 1-0 down to Brighton and hanging on to leads that we didn't hang on to earlier this season, it's really not looking good. I think we've just got to we have to win the rest of our games and just pray on Liverpool's downfall. They've got a couple fixtures where they can drop points, but ultimately it's firmly in their hands now, I believe. We still have to think of the grand scheme of things though. Like, come on. We're gonna pick City fans up. Like, we're in the quarter-final of the Champions League. We're in the semi-final of the FA Cup against Chelsea. Probably have a good chance of getting to the FA Cup final. I believe we can get past Madrid. We can get to. I think there's still a long way to go in this season. But that game yesterday wasn't the best. It wasn't. Well, I don't think it was particularly bad. I just think Arsenal just set up like a defensive rock, and they did that perfectly. Like they came to not lose, and they didn't lose. So when you come with that mindset and you do that, you can't really say Arsenal failed. It's a fair play to them, you know. They got the point that they wanted. They're still above us in the table. So let's go through all our players and let's have a look. Let's review everything that happened. So let's start up top with Erling Haaland. I'm not going to sit here and start to criticise him like literally most people are. I think that ultimately he's had an alright game, but you know, he could have done better, I understand. But there were some moments which I just thought, like, you've got to be easy on the guy. He didn't get the most service. He didn't have many touches in the game. The only big moment I can think of is the moment where the ball came across. He should have cut it back to Diaz, and he just completely missed the ball. It was an off day for him. I think saying he has the ability, the link-up play of a League 2 player, like Roy Keane said, is way too harsh. Like, his link-up play has significantly improved since he's come. So I think it's very hard what Roy Keane said. I think he did obviously didn't have a good game, but it's not the worst in the world. It's really not. So they've been a lot of people. He's still the Premier League top goal scorer. He still scored something like 20-odd goals this season. He's still on fire. Like, I think, and he's been injured for 2 months. So come on. Away. Moving on, let's go to Phil Foden. Yeah, he got a 6.6 match rating. He was alright. I still don't know, my opinion. I don't know why Pep subbed him off. I think, we'll get on to Kevin, but I think at the 60th minute mark, I think it should have been Kevin De Bruyne coming off and keeping Phil on the pitch. Because Phil looked lively. I thought Phil was all around the place. And I thought he could have maybe done better, but ultimately I think Phil, you know, he did alright. Most of the attacking players did alright. There's nothing much. They're all very similar, our attacking players. They all did pretty alright. However, Kevin De Bruyne here though, he's got a 7.4 match rating. He made 4 chances, but he's not the Kevin that we're used to. He's a different Kevin, and we have to come to terms with that. Coming back from his injury, he's just not. He just seems a lot more sluggish and trying to get back into like the swing of things. But he's nowhere near as like before. It was like quick decisions. He'd move quick. He had great movement. Now he looks slow when he turns. His vision's still there, but there's just something a little bit off. I think that's just the general coming back from injury, like as to the extent that it was. But ultimately, it's not the same De Bruyne we're used to. It's just not. Bernardo Silva, I thought he did brilliant. Of the attacking line, I thought he was our best attacker. I thought he dribbled everywhere magnificently, especially at the start. I just think he was phenomenal. I can't really ask much more for Bernardo. He did great up front. I think of the attackers, he would definitely get the award for being the best one. Like, nothing much really to say apart from just great dribbling. Just overall great game. Mateo Kovacic, again, similar. Just held up well in the midfield. He's really stepped up since we've signed him, and I think he's a phenomenal player now. He's solidified himself in the team. It's a tricky one now, though, because you look at that team, and I feel like he solidifies himself. So what do you do with Jack Grealish? I'd make a strong argument that you play Phil where Kevin is, and you put Jack Grealish where Phil is. Go, like, for future reference. Because Kev's slowly, we're going to have to start to slowly, and I mean slowly, phase Kevin out the team as he's getting older. But he's still phenomenal. I don't want this to be a Kevin De Bruyne hate watch or anything. I don't mean that. I don't want to really insult Kevin. But yeah, I think we just slowly need to think about Kevin replacements. And then Rodri's just Rodri. Like, man of the match, 8.3. Spot on. He just gives 100% effort every single minute. Phenomenal player. There's nothing more I can really say. Manuel Akanji, again, I think he was our best defender, like he has been for the past few months. He's phenomenal on the ball, moving. He's everywhere on the pitch, and I just think he's a great guy. There's not much to really say about the defence ultimately, because they didn't really come at us. So same goes for Diaz again. Great defending, but what can I really say? Nothing really happened in terms of their attack. Nathan Ake coming off after 27 minutes. God, that was just... After he nearly scored as well from the corner. Nathan Ake out getting injured after 27 minutes was a nightmare. We haven't had the injury thing yet. I think Pep's speaking tomorrow. We'll find out how... But it doesn't seem like it's as bad as initial reactions were. But, yeah. So it's actually... We'll go on to Rico Lewis, actually. We'll go on to Rico now, because he was the direct sub. And I thought Rico did brilliant. Rico came in. He got subbed on. And he was brilliant. I think, moving into the midfield, Rico's just great. I feel like Rico's just one of them people you can just rely on. You can bring him on the pitch whenever, and you can rely on him to put a good shift in, and he has. He's a great player to see to just sub on like that. In a moment, one of the biggest games, a key defender goes down, you can bring on Rico like that to trust on him. It's great. And then Josko Vardiol, best... Yeah, no, sorry. Did I say Kanji was the best defender? Sorry. God almighty, how can I say that? Josko Gvardiol. Wow. Saka in his pocket. Look at Saka, 5.7 match rating. He was the worst player on the pitch. He really was. Saka was not... He was not there. Gvardiol shut him down completely. And it was great to see. Honestly, it was good to see Josko being Josko, just what we paid for, an amazing fullback like that. It's just brilliant. And then Stefan Ortega again didn't face much, but when he did, he turned up. The other subs, we've got Jeremy Doku, came on, did a few dribbles, but his end product's just still not there. I just feel like his decision making after he gets past them needs to be better, because he can get past them in no time. But just no end product. And it's if he had that end product, he'd be phenomenal. Jack Grealish again came on, and he was brill. I thought Jack Grealish was incredible. That's what we needed. Seeing him come on and just I know the game was already slow, and you might think this is weird because of how they played, but I feel like him matching their slowness was brilliant. Of just calmly moving it, and it was great to see. But ultimately, decent team performance. I mean, we kept a clean sheet against Arsenal. We've drawn at home to them. I'm overall not too concerned, Not too concerned for the future. I think there's still a long way to go in this title. But, not the result we wanted. I feel like we could have got a winner. We could have scored. We had chances to get the goal, and we didn't. But ultimately, you can't cry about it. Still got an unbeaten run at the Etihad. Rodri's still unbeaten. The team's looking good. The future's bright. And that's all I've got really to say about this game in terms of the team. And we can have a look at the stats, but there isn't really much. There's not many stats to look at in this game, apart from we dominated possession. We had the chances. I mean, they had more shots on target, to be fair, but, just wasn't really much. But there's nothing to really say about this in terms of stats. Just not good enough from our part in the finishing, in the clinicalness. But overall, nothing to really cry about horrifically. I think everyone just needs to keep their heads. We keep going, and I think we've got this. I think we can. I still think we can get this title. It's possible. Just win our games. Easy enough. We can do this. Come on, City. On to Villa midweek. Let's go.